Dear black men, truth is our greatest weapon. Dear black men, truth is our greatest weapon. Why do I say that? It's because everything that they built has been built off of deceptions and lies. So the way to combat those deceptions and lies is through telling the truth. We don't need to justify bad apples. We don't need to do that. As you can see as an example in this thumbnail. Some people are trying to justify Raja and his actions. I'm not trying to justify Raja and his actions because Raja went too far. Raja showed a lack of self-control. Was that guy Stu being an idiot? And did he assault him? Yes, he did. But that's besides the point. He went too far. Okay, that's a lack of judgment on his part. And he has too much of an anger problem. You know, it may be based upon the things that he endured and so on and so forth. He did endure a lot. Supposedly his mother was unalived at a young age. But there's no excuse for people's actions. That makes us just like them. Because when they have these school unalivings, right, from these little young boys, of course, you know, it has to be a mental issue. They have to go through the storyline of his life and so on and so forth, when none of that matters. A crime was committed. People lost their lives. That's what's important. So the main thing has to remain the main thing. And you can't feel like, oh, we're going to take an L on this, because you're not taking an L. Bar none, when you do facts versus facts, the white people are the most destructive and criminal people on the planet Earth, bar none. You want to talk about per capita, they're not even putting the biggest criminals in the per capita statistics. I did a documentary, not a documentary, but I did an episode on who should be the face of crime. And I put in how many people were unalived and still being affected by what the DuPont family did. In my opinion, it's millions, but on paper, they say there's about 70,000. But in my opinion, doing through a process of calculation and assessment, I believe it's in the millions. It really can't be measured. That's not put into their per capita, right? They conveniently leave things out. We cannot be like them. You're supposed to be better. You're supposed to be of excellent moral character. This is what I'm showing you, and this is what I'm pushing in this channel. Excellent moral character. And the idea is not to go tit for tat because they'll justify anything their people do. That doesn't mean we do the same thing. No, we don't do that. We call out bad apples. We call out bad behavior. But at the same time, facts for facts, statistics for statistics, they are far beyond in evil and criminality. This is the facts that people do not want to talk about. So I'm not shying away from that. I'm not shying away from YNs and that there's a lot of bad black people out there. I'm not shying away from that. That is a fact. There's a lot of bad Indians. There's a lot of bad other people out there of all nationalities. Absolutely. And a big part of why black people are the way they are, all you have to do is look before the 60s. Before the 60s, it was nothing like this. Black men were in suits. You know, black men had a strong sense of morality and family. After the 60s, a lot of things changed. There was a lot of covert operations that happened to destroy the black community. And this is what I go into. And I go into it because it's a fact. In order to really deal with a problem, You have to go to the root of the problem. This is what they don't want to talk about. They only want to talk about the surface level. But when it starts to get into the root of the problem, that's when they cry, oh, you're playing the victim and this and that. When no one plays the victim more than them. See, these are truths that a lot of people do not truly tackle in depth. There's so many things, so many topics I want to touch on, so many things I have to touch on that the average person does not know because they believe in pseudoscience. They believe in what was put in their textbooks instead of doing their own research and their own critical thinking. Why do you think they want to do away with critical race theory, which is really critical race fact? Why do they want to do away with that? Which that's only going into detail of their history and what they have done. Not only their history, but also black people's history in America. They want to shun that. They want to do away with that because their children's feelings may be hurt. What I thought they were all about the truth. I thought they were truthers. I thought they stop being a snowflake, right? I thought it was all about that. You see, this is the hypocrisy that when you really analyze with an honest eye, you can see the hypocrisy in them. And you could understand that you do not need lies. You don't need to sugarcoat things. Because the data, the truth is on our side. The data and the truth is on our side. And when you hear certain things that paints them in a great light, all you have to do is go into the truth. All you have to do is do some research, stop being lazy, do some research, and go into the full understanding of those things. And you'll come to find out, once again, that the truth is on our side. Like I said, if you're subscribed to this channel, get ready to hear a lot of information of things that are not spoken about in the mainstream. It's not spoken about even in these underground channels, if you will. This is information that people don't even consider. A lot of the things that I'm going to go into in a perspective of truth on both ends of the spectrum, because we're being honest here. We're not stooping down to their level. We're being honest. Okay? Let the thumbnail be a message to you. Right there, a thumbnail, a message of truth. These are both incidents that happened in recent times. But notice when you have guys like, what's his name? MMA Guru. He's not an honest individual. He's not honest. He's very dishonest. Right? That's why when he goes on his rant, he's not going to go on a rant about the recent unalivings of multiple people by a white male. Then he's not going to go into that because he has a narrative he wants to push, because he's very dishonest. When I touched on the Raja incident, I touched on the Raja incident not from a standpoint of defending Raja, but analyzing the data and analyzing the video with an objective mind. Analyzing the video with an objective mind to bring the truth. Because you cannot truly educate with lies. You can only educate with the truth. This is what I have to say. So black men, understand this, that the truth is on our side, not their side. With that, I'm out.